Hello class 10 students. Today I am going to conclude the elaborate discussions of the lesson number 3 of history. In the last class, in the last discussion, we discussed about the peasants revolt of various places, that are in Fulguri, which was the first that started in 1861, and then in the lower part of Assam, Rongia, Lasima, and also Patharughat. So here, after finishing all the consequences in Assam, the British government, East India Company, they started to extend their tentacles towards the ethnic tribal area, basically the hilly areas. So here today we will discuss about some ethnic tribal revolt against the British government. Here the British always, with certain chances, they tried to interfere in the administrative system of the kingdom, of these small kingdoms, that is ethnic kingdoms. So as they got the chance, they interfered, and whenever they found certain cause to interfere it, they started to maneuver, they started to create cert create such kind of possibilities that the kingdom or the king of that kingdom had to surrender his or her kingdom to the British government. In this way, the first revolt that we are going to start to discuss, that is about Jaintia revolt. Here in Jaintia, when the British started to dominate, the British East India Company started to dominate the Jaintias and also the kingdom, the British started to interfere through different political agents, and in this way the British installed some political agents in regards to various activities, administrative activities of the Jaintia kingdom. Here the Diwani and Faujdari responsibilities were vested on the Dolois. So what are the Diwani and Faujdari responsibilities? These are the courts, judicial system of the Jaintia revolt. So here Diwani refers to revenue, civil system, and Faujdari refers to criminal system. So courts are divided into two types, civil and criminal. Here criminal regards to the punishment of the people who are engaged in such certain kinds of crimes. Diwani, that is the civil, where the courts are engaged in taking the cases or other activities like which are related to revenues and payment of taxes, etc. So these British political agents were responsible for the Diwani and Faujdari activities, and the responsibilities were given on some people who are the leaders of the villages of the certain kingdoms. And also the British, they were always trying to extract huge amount of revenues from the local people. So in this way the British made arrangements to extract revenue by banning community fishings and collection of firewood, which was common among those people. And also the British were interfering in the religious and traditional system, social practice, traditional system of the kingdom. And these people, local peoples, were they were banned of using of their weapon that had been used for generations. These systems of the British turned these ethnic hill tribes completely against the British. They organized village meeting like the peasants started, the ricemen, and in this way when they organized meeting with the Dolois and Sardars, the head of the villages, and began to prepare for revolt. On the other hand, the British uh, established their authority by imposing taxes in different means like house tax, income tax, and so on. And these taxes were imposed on the people of the Giantias who had never been paid any tax in cash. They have not seen cash. These common people have not seen the cash. And again, when the British were planning to implement house tax, the Giantias raised a banner of revolt by removing the tahsildars of Joais. Joai, a name of a place. Tahsildar, who are engaged in taking the revenues. As soon as the news spread, revolts were declared in various places like Giantepur, Mulagul, Jaflong, and Sera area also. So here, who revolted? The Giantia common people. And who led the revolt? His name was Yukyang Nongba. The British also adopted stern measures, and in retaliation, the Giantia, under the leaderships of this Yukyang Nongba, doubled the strength of the revolt. They made their Joai, that means these two groups of people, the British, sorry, the British and the leader of the revolt, Giantia revolt. And when they sought to overthrow the British authority from the Giant Hills and re-establish their own right, on 17th January 1862, the Giantias made a sudden attack on the British camp. In this way, the rebels had already blocked the road connecting Joai, Cherrapunji and Cherrapunji Giantipur. So you know that now Giantia kingdom in those times, which was prevailing in during the British time and before the British time, they had certain places like Joai, Cherrapunji. So consecutively we can understand that this place belong to the Meghalaya plateau now. These places are situated in Meghalaya, now present day Meghalaya state. So here the native infantry and the Bengal military police force deployed by the British administration had been torturing the people inhumanly, and in these triggers the rebels to kill many of their opponents. The rebels killed many of their opponents. So in this way, from the both way, losses were there. Rebels killed many of their opponents, that is the English people, and in the midst of the violent conflict between the two sides, the British administration entrusted the military and civil authority. When the British were thinking that, thought that it was very hard for controlling this revolt, and civil authority of the entire Giant Hills, one Brigadier General of the Eastern Command, G.D. Shawar, to him the military administration was entrusted, and in addition B.W. Monoton was appointed as Deputy Commissioner for Civil Authority of the Khasi Giantia Hills. So the continuous attack of the government from the government side was leading to the gradual erosion, and the rebels were eroding. The strength of the rebels were declining, and also the British government promised that about 1000 rupees will be awarded if anyone give the information of Yukyang Nongba, the rebel leader. Ultimately, because of this strategies taken by the British, Yukyang Nongba was captured by the British alive, and in the presence of huge crowd he was hanged to death. In this way the anti-revolt come to end, and the other rebels who were led by Yukyang Nongba, they also surrendered because their strength reduced. This incident dampened the spirit of the rebel to a large extent, and many of them surrendered voluntarily. In this manner, by 1863, the Giant revolt came to an end. So next event was the revolt of North Kachar. So here the important things that you have to understand, that it prevailed in North Kachar, and it was led by, the revolt of North Kachar was led by Sambudhan Kachari. Here Sambudhan Kachari was attacking the British soldiers, um, were attacking the British soldiers, and an English officer who was also appointed by the English to control the ethnic people of this area. And these were the reasons that led to the revolt. Why? What was the reason? That is, a force, cookie force, was formed by the British government by taking the local inhabitants of North Kachar area. So in this way, this infuriated the rebel leaders Sambudhan Kachari, and Sambudhan Kachari started the revolt. Ultimately, from the both side fighting, there were losses for both sides. Some British officers were killed, some were injured. Both sides, many losses were incurred. And afterwards, Sambudhan Kachari, what happened to him, it was not known. Though he was seriously injured, and there is no information as to what happened to Sambudhan Kachari. Next, about the revolt of Nagas. In this way, the Naga was also engaged in fighting against the British government. Here, one person, a British officer, Damante, and his security was killed by the rebels of Nagas. And this revolt of the Angami Nagas was crushed with an iron hand by Colonel Johnston. Here the leaders of the Nagas was not mentioned in these books. Next important event, that is the revolt of Manipur. The kingdom, actually till then Manipur was not inside the administration of Assam, and the British need not to interfere the administration of Assam. But the British were always finding issues and chances to interfere in the administration. So here, many years, Manipur was recognized as a native kingdom and under the protection of the British. The British were protecting this kingdom, and the British were not interfering. But in 1890, an internal quarrel among the ruling class, along the Manipuri royal family for throne was started. And in this struggle, the successor, the chief, in this struggle among the successor, that means who will become the next king of Manipur, the chief commissioner of Assam unnecessarily interfered. So, taking advantage of the presence of the British, the crown prince Kulachandra dethroned the king. It is Kulachandra dethroned the king Surachandra and sat on the throne himself. Before, King Surachandra was the king, and his family member, one of his family member, Kulachandra, dethroned the king and sat on the throne himself. How did it happen? Kulachandra to some extent was able to take the help of the British. King Surachandra, who was dethroned by Kulachandra, appealed to help to the British, but the British didn't come in forward to help Surachandra, the previous king. Thereafter, the British began to put pressure on Kulachandra to banish his commander-in-chief. Here, the name Tikendrajit come because he was a Senapati, commander-in-chief of the Manipur kingdom, and he was very loyal for the kingdom. And during the throne of King Surachandra, he was an active person in commanding the armed force of Manipur. But this was like a havoc that has been created towards the British, and the British don't want such kind of patriotic commander-in-chief in the kingdom. So Tikendrajit, who was the main leader of the anti-British revolt, which was secretly going on from the kingdom, Tikendrajit was running a secret anti-British revolt against the British. But Tikendrajit was so strong enough, as he was a chief commander of Manipur. Surachandra was unable to banish, as instructed by the British, banish Tikendrajit. So Tikandiji actually was trying to protect the kingdom. On the direction of the British directed Surachandra to banish Tikandiji, but Surachandra was unable. And then, when the Chief Commissioner of Assam, J.W. Quinton, and 4 other European officers came to Manipur, they themselves came to arrest Tikandiji, to capture Tikandiji. But Tikandiji and his rebel people, who were freedom-seeking people, they killed all of them, all the officers, including J.W. Quinton. And to avenge the incidents, a strong military contingent was sent to Manipur. Tikandiji was successfully captured by the British force, and on the charge of anti-British activities and killing British officials, he was hanged. King Kulachandra was exiled, and a minor Manipur Prince Surachandra was declared by the King of September. In September 1891. So in this way, the revolt of Manipur came into end, and till then, till the end of 1891 of this 19th century, whole part of India was under the British administration. So I hope so you will try to understand, and you go through the textbook for your better understanding, and also share this video. Here I want to ask you to write the short answer type question. There are about 22-23 questions in this book, so I want to write you. This is your homework, and I will understand if this homework is not done. I will understand that you are not going through the videos, because I am mentioning about the homework only in the video. So you go through the textbook thoroughly, find out the answer, and show it to me as early as possible. And if you want the summary video of this lesson in a different way, then do this homework. For the time being, thank you.